Hello! Welcome back to my channel. Or really, am I just saying that to myself because I am the one who's been MIA. I'm sure you guys have just been wondering where I'm at. I've been all over the place, making new things, creating new business plans. I'm doing all the things. But today, I am excited to bring you guys a new video. I got a lot of new products that I just wanted to try out. For example, Pop Beauty was one of them who sent me these amazing brow products that I'm so excited to try out. And I have a new palette to me. It's been out for a few months, but it's newer to me. I'm just now jumping on the bandwagon. This is the Dream Street ColourPop palette with Kathleen Lights. So we are testing this guy out today. I've never used it before. This is the look that I came up with, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. I really like how the look came out. If you guys want to see how I got this look, then just keep watching. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to hop into is actually by ColourPop, and this is the collaboration they did with Kathleen Lights. It comes in this really adorable packaging. I do love that the names come on the back, and it's like this beautiful rose gold cream colored. So let's go ahead and remove it out of the box. Can't really use it when it's in the box. It is a beautiful package. Dream Street is the name of the palette, and these are what the colors look like right here. Super pretty. I've been eyeballing this palette honestly for so long. I was like, let's just hurry up and get this. I'm really excited to play with this palette. I really love Kathleen Lights. I think she's just such a sweet person. So I will also let you guys know that the names of the colors are on the back as well, which I can appreciate because sometimes it's really hard to explain what colors you use when the names are not on the palette. I'm trying to see if there is like a matte all over shade, and there really isn't. I already did prep my eyes. I used the Smashbox lid primer. You guys know that this is like my favorite. So just for the sake of prepping my eyes, because there's no like base shade that's not shimmery, that's pretty light because I am very fair again right now, I'm just going to use a face powder real quick. I'm just going to use an all over shadow brush and literally just press over top of that primer because you guys know I like to have a shadow over top of my primer so it's easier for me to blend out colors later. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. So I never know what direction, like how to read the actual names. So is it like when you're looking at the palette? Hope I'm getting this right. Oh my gosh, I actually really don't know. Poop. Okay, well, I'm going to go in with this. I believe this is Shooting Star. I feel like it is. But I'm going to pop this shade into the crease with my Morphe M502. Totally lied. I'm not going to use that. I'm using this shade, actually. Stardust, right here in the palette. It's kind of like a really light, creamy, peachy. Kind of reminds me of like a creamsicle shade. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. I'm not getting a ton of kick up, which is nice. So I'm going to be running this directly into the crease and slightly a little bit higher too. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. I honestly already love ColourPop's products. I love their lippies, I love their brow products, and I even love a lot of their shadows. They have really nice highlighters as well. And their textures and formulas are really honestly one of a kind, and I love that you can find them in Ulta now, so that's a big plus. So I'm just really taking windshield wiper motions and just building up that color, again running it through my crease and a little bit above it as well. This color is building up really nicely, and it's matching, because sometimes when you use new palettes, at least for me lately, when I pick up a color and then like blend it onto the eye, I feel like it's like changing color sometimes, but this one isn't, so I can appreciate that. It's showing true to color how it looks in the pan. Sometimes when you're using a new palette, you don't always want a surprise. And once you have that pretty much blended out to what you want it to be, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up another Morphe brush. This is an M513 brush, and then I'm gonna go in with that shade, the first shade in the palette, which is Twinkle. So just picking that up. And this one I'm gonna focus lower than that color and more directly into my crease. The first one I kind of blew it out, and it kind of, I want it to be a little bit higher than the crease, so this color we're just focusing this directly into the crease. These colors are so pretty together. they're not taking a lot of work to blend, which is very nice. I really want to play with one of these shimmery shades. I'm going to just swatch this one real quick. Wow, that's so pretty. The one I just swatched is this guy, and it is the shade Magical. This is what it's looking like. Wow, it's really pigmented. And then I want to see what this one looks like, which the name of this one is, oh my gosh, I don't know. I think it's Spark, maybe Spark. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. Oh, this one's a lot like more toned down, but it's kind of like a duochrome. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it on camera or not, but it's like a duochrome. It's like right there. So I'm just going to take a flat shadow brush. This brush is so old. I've had this literally for so many years. This is by, oh my gosh, it's so rubbed off. I believe it's Sonia Kashuk. Kashuk? I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but it's just honestly like a flat shadow brush. So anything that you already have at home is perfect. I'm going to go ahead and pick up that shade in the palette right here. And my brush is dry, so we'll see how this works dry instead of making it wet. Oh my gosh, wow. It's so pretty. I'm really honestly just taking this across the whole lid. I don't need it to be perfect. I'm going to go in with more colors in a minute. But this color is so pretty. This would be really pretty probably as a highlighter. But I have a new highlighter I'm going to try out today, so I won't use this on the face today. So I'm pretty much just keeping this color pretty tight on the lid and just bringing it right to the crease, but not above it. So I'm really just taking pressing motions. These more shimmery shades, it just makes more sense when you're applying your makeup to just make it like pressed on instead of swiping it on, because sometimes when you swipe it, you end up getting glitter all over your face. It doesn't like really press on the pigment. So you really want to just take your brush and just press it on. And you can take a different brush later and kind of buff it out. So then all we'll do is just go back to that Morphe M513 brush and just really lightly go over the edges. I'm going to deepen up the outer edge a little bit just to give a little bit more dimension. So I'm going to be using this shade. Oh, I think I just figured it out because I actually know the shade of this blue, which is Water Bearer. Water Bearer. So this one is Potion. This shade was Sweet Dreams. Okay, yeah, and I got the first two right. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry for all that confusion, but at least you can see which color I'm using, so I'm sorry. So I'm going to be using the shade right here, which is Potion. So I'm just going to pick that up on a really small bullet brush. This one is by Smashbox. So I'm going to just tap off the excess, and I'm just going to start packing that color right onto the outer V area. Wow. So pretty, big surprise. I love their shadows, and I really love the colors that Kathleen has chosen for this palette. This is a beautiful shade. So really, when I'm using this bullet brush, I'm just kind of like packing on the color. This works really nice when you want to give dimension to the outer V area. But I don't necessarily blend with this brush. I just like to pack on the color. I mean, I kind of slightly sometimes will try to blend it, but it's not what that's not the main reason that I'm using this brush, if that makes sense, hopefully. And again, I'm just going to go in with that Morphe M513 brush, and I'm just going to start buffing out the edges. And if you ever have a shadow that doesn't want to blend, like it's kind of sticking to a certain area of your eye, the very first color that we used with this brush was this guy right here, that like peachy kind of shade. You can just pick up just a tiny bit of it and kind of go over it when you're blending out that shade, and it kind of helps grab the color again and then re-blend it. So instead of making something look super muddy, I'm just really lightly using that shade to blend out that really dark outer edge color now. And these two colors really complement each other, so I love, again, the colors that she chose in this palette. I really like it. So just lightly buffing it out. I'm just going to wipe off the excess that's on this brush. And then again, going in with that first shade again, and just lightly diffusing out the edges of that dark shade. I'm using really tight, small circular motions in that area, because I don't want that color to be too blown out and too all over the eyelid. So I like to keep it really tight and focused here. Just picking up a little bit more of that creamy peachy shade and just further blending out that color. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up that very first flat shadow brush that we used, and I used it with my face powder. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit more of that face powder and just highlight the brow bone again. I don't necessarily love a brow bone highlight to be something that's shimmery, because I love the glow to be more on the face. That's just a personal preference. It's not like a rule book, it's no makeup rules, but I just like my brow bone to be more matte. Except my inner corner, I do like it to be kind of shimmery. And then to intensify that inner half of the eye, I'm gonna go back in with that shimmery shade. This was Sweet Dreams is this one. So again, just kind of pressing. Just taking that Morphe brush again and just lightly buffing out the edges. Don't want to see any harsh lines. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to the rest of the face, and I forgot to pick out a primer. 1 second. Okay, so I'm just going to be using the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer. This is the original. This is like the most teeny little bottle you could possibly have, but I am slightly too lazy to walk across the room and get the full-size bottle. So we're just using this, but I'm just going to use a pea-size amount, and I like to use it in the areas where I have slightly larger pores, which is usually just through the T-zone. And for foundation today, I don't think I've actually used this on camera, but this is the IT Cosmetics CC Cream. This is the CC with the SPF 50 in it. This is the illuminating, like hydrating one. It is like a fuller coverage CC cream. Funny story about this. So I actually bought this like maybe when it first launched, so a few years ago. I bought it and everybody was like, "Oh, you're gonna love it. Your skin type, you'll be obsessed with this." And I tried it, and I remember like not liking it at all, like at all. It didn't look good on my skin. It kind of just like balled up, and it just didn't look how a normal foundation would look for me. So I ended up trying it again, literally years later, more like up to time now, and I'm obsessed. I love it. So I don't know if aging, because it's been a few years, so my skin is a little different now. But I actually really like it. So I'm just going to be using the shade Fair. My neck is kind of somewhat of like a couple different colors, so I'm sorry if you can see that on camera. My spray tan is coming off interestingly. So I'm just going to be using this on a, what are you? This is also rubbed off, but I do know that this is a Real Techniques. I think it's just like a face brush. So I'm just going to be using this instead of a beauty blender today. This smells like oranges. It smells so citrusy, but I really like it. But if you don't love smells, I mean, I would say it's pretty medium. It's not like really strong, but it's not lightly fragranced either. I don't think it's terrible by any means. Okay, and for my concealer, I'm going to be using my tried and true. This is the Smashbox Studio Skin Concealer. This is in the shade Fair. If my foundation ends up looking too light, it's no big deal. I'm going to use a new bronzer, which I think is going to be perfect to warm up my skin because I'm kind of a few different shades right now. Then for this, I'm actually going to be using a flat foundation brush, but I'm going to kind of press that concealer into my problem area down here right now. This area is slightly giving me problems. And then for underneath my eye, I'm going to be using the Real Techniques. This is the setting brush, but I just like to use this to kind of buff out my concealer sometimes, instead of using this to set my under eyes. And I'm just going to go back with my foundation brush and kind of just press over that concealer. I'm just going to use that same brush and pick up some face powder. This is by Pure Minerals. This is their 4-in-1 Pressed Mineral Makeup Broad Spectrum SPF 15. So I'm just going to take that and just really lightly set my under eyes, because I want to finish the eyes before we move on to the rest of the face. Okay, so hopping back into the palette here, I'm going to be picking up that peachy shade again in the palette and picking up a different bullet brush, tapping off the excess and just kind of lining this underneath my lower lashes. And then with a really tight, more defined brush, I'm going to pick up the shade that we used on the outer V area, which was Potion. And I'm gonna hug this closer to the bottom lashes. And then picking up that Morphe M513 brush and literally just buffing out the edges so that it looks a little bit more diffused. Going back in with that really tight flat shadow brush, I'm gonna go back in and pick up, so what color is this then? This is Sweet Dreams. I'm gonna go back in and just pop this right on the inner corner here. Just bring a little bit of brightness to these inner corners. And I think I like it without liner even on the bottom. So all I'm gonna do is just coat my lashes with some mascara and I'll be right back. Okay, so moving on to the rest of the face, I'm just gonna use my face powder and just a big brush, just a big face brush, and just set the rest of my face so that we can just move on to the rest of the face. Okay, so the next thing I'm really excited to try is this Becca Sunlit Bronzer. This is in the shade Bronzer Bondi. Bondi? Oh my god, that's embarrassing. I don't know how to pronounce that either. But it comes in this beautiful package here. So here is the bronzer. It has like these waves that are like pressed into it. Oh my god, brain dead. But they're like pressed into it, and I honestly like Becca's packaging. I just love it. It's so sleek and so beautiful. So this looks pretty warm. I got this when I was very, very tan. I know, Christina was very tan. This is weird. Anyway, so I just really got this. I love the way it looked. It has like a slight shimmer to it, but I'm okay with it. So I'm going to be using this on a angled brush. This is back from my Mary Kay days. Like 10 years ago. Over 10 years ago. I'm not sure. But this is by Mary Kay, and I'm pretty sure they probably don't have this anymore, but really just anything that's angled is what I'm going to be using today, and this is just the cheek brush. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up a little bit of this. I don't know how pigmented it is, but we are going to see. It's actually not as dark as I thought it was going to be, so that's actually a plus because I am pretty fair right now. And I'm not using this to contour because I'm totally going to be a stickler and probably sound kind of rude, but you do not contour with a warm bronzer and with glitter in it. So I'm not going to be contouring. I'm just really just bronzing up the perimeters of my face. I just like to bring it over my nose a little. This brush is shedding. Honestly, this was like one of my favorite brushes though. Like, it lasted me forever, but it's just now kind of starting to die, I think. But really, it lasted me a long time, and it went through a lot. So I'm just gonna use this brush real quick. This is the Real Techniques. No, this is Japanesque. I don't know the name of it because it doesn't say. But I like it. It's pretty warm. It's like pretty reddish. It honestly makes you look like you have like a slight sunburn. But if you're looking for a bronzer that gives a little bit more of a red warmth instead of an orange warmth, you might actually like this. I just think because I'm so fair, like it's very obvious that it just might not be like the perfect color for my skin tone right now, but it's okay. I'm rocking it. I'm not afraid of it. It's fine. I do like it though. Their bronzers though, I really like them. I was going to get one of the matte ones, but I honestly have so many matte bronzers that I was like, let me try a shimmer one. So I'm really excited for this next part because I got this in the mail. This is from Pop Beauty, and I'm so excited. They were so kind enough to send me all of their eyebrow products. So it looks like they sent me 3 brow pencils, I believe. Yes, brow pencil plus spoolie, it says. And they gave me 3 of their brow wax and powder. So they come in these little cute boxes. So they sent me 3 of each. So I'm going to show you guys the colors. And thank you so much to Pop Beauty. That was so incredibly kind of you. It was a nice little surprise to get in the mail. So thank you so much for sending that to me. So the colors that they have are Bubbly Blondie, Classy Brunette, and Original Onyx. And then I'm assuming that these are the same. Nope, they have slightly different names. So there is Taupe Blonde, Natural Brunette, and Deep Ebony. So I'm excited. I will go ahead and swatch them for you. I'm gonna be using the pencils. So I will swatch them all for you. This is Deep Ebony. It says, creates perfect arches with the help of this automatic brow pen. Oh, it's a pen? Oh, it's a pencil, but anyways. Pigment-rich formula glides on and stays on. Not tested on animals. So this is cruelty-free for those of you who will probably be asking me about that. Oh, cool! It actually is shaped just like the Anastasia like brow definer. It's shaped like a triangle. Super cool. So here is the Ebony shade. Oh my gosh. Let me just swatch it here. Oh, wow. It's pretty creamy, I can tell you that. And it's not as like dark as I thought it was gonna be. Because sometimes even when you have like really, really dark hair, you don't want your brows to be like exactly one shade, if that makes sense. Like you kind of want it to be more dimensional. So it went on really smooth, and it does come with a spoolie on the other end. So that is a big plus. And another thing is that this gets me, so when you like roll it up out of the container, you can actually roll it back down too. So in case you're curious about that. I probably sound like a lunatic to people who don't care, but that's something I care about. The next shade is Natural Brunette. They almost feel kind of waxy almost. Like instead of being more, they don't feel super dry. So there is the Natural Brunette right there. And then this one is the Taupe Blonde. This top shade right here is Taupe Blonde. So I think that I'm gonna use the Taupe Blonde. I think that the Natural Brunette is just a little bit too dark for my liking. So I'm gonna use the spoolie on this end, and I'm just going to brush through my brows, get them prepared. The spoolie is like slightly ginormous, which is not a bad thing. So it honestly is shaped just like the Anastasia one, the triangle definer brow. Wow, this is actually a lot nicer than I thought it was gonna be. Like, when it swatched, I felt like it was so waxy, although my hands are like extremely dry right now. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe that helped, that my face is not so dry right now. But it goes on really waxy, but not in like a wet way. Does that make sense? Like it goes on waxy, but very smooth. But I actually like the texture of it because it's building in color like extremely fast and really just like smooth. That makes sense what I'm saying here. I don't mind the shape of the brow product because I don't know, I'm used to using lots of different things. I mean, when I work with so many clients, you get used to using different kinds of things. So honestly, the shape of this doesn't really bother me at all. But if you don't like a triangle shape, I don't see why you would like this. Yeah, this is like really smooth. I hope it lasts long. I mean, it feels, the cool thing is it almost feels waxy to the point where when you fill in your brow, it like seals down and then it like holds the brow in place. Does that make sense? Like it just feels like it kind of holds it in place. So I like this a lot more than I thought I was going to. Cool. I actually really like that brow product. Like I'm definitely going to be using that. So the next product that we have is this Rainforest of the Sea Volume 2 Skin Twinkle Lightening Palette. This is by Tarte. Comes in this beautiful like rainbow, kind of like, it reminds me of like a troutfish. Rainforest of the Sea. That obviously would make sense why it reminds me of a fish. But it comes, oh my gosh, cute. The package is so pretty. The back is like this really nice gold color. And it's pretty like, doesn't feel cheap by any means, which is, that's good because I travel frequently. Oh, these colors are so pretty. I haven't even looked at this, swatched it, anything. Oh my gosh, this mirror is going to be so blinding. Hopefully you guys can kind of tell the shades here. I really like the selection that they have. So the names are right here on the bottom of the palette. So we have Daylights, and I will do some swatching here for you guys. That is the worst swatching of life. How in the world am I going to swatch those? I feel like every time I swatch anything, I'm like a dry lizard. You guys are probably like, she is the worst person at swatching. Possibly so. So this shade right here is called Daylight. I actually really like it. It's pretty light looking, which I didn't think it was going to be so light. The second shade we have right here is called Skylight. This one's a little bit lighter, brighter. Right here, this is. The third one in here is called Spotlight. So this one right here is the Spotlight one. It's a little bit more toned down and a little bit more of a peachy shade. And then the last one here, this one is Candlelight. This one is definitely more of a golden shade. Super beautiful though. Love that shade. So that guy right here is Candlelight. I'm gonna go ahead and go into the first two shades right here, which is Daylight and Skylight, these two really light shades. I'm just gonna mix them on a fan brush and just pop them on the tops of my cheekbones. They kind of have a slight smell. It doesn't stink to me. I would say it's really, really faint smell. Kind of smells like vanilla-y almost. Wow, these are like really pretty. So pretty. Take just a little bit above my brow. I like the texture. They're really pigmented without like being really accentuating texture. The formula of them feels pretty powdery, but like when you use it on the skin, it almost feels like more of a cream almost. So I don't really have anything new for lip colors, so I'm just gonna line my lips with the Smashbox Nude Medium Always Sharp Lip Liner. I love that these literally sharpen inside the cap. Like this is actually sharpening it. It's amazing. Okay, lips are lined, and honestly, to be truthful, I've been using so many matte lipsticks that I'm kind of over it, and I feel like being glossy. So I'm gonna use the Buxom Lip Gloss. This is in the shade Mwah. It is MWAH. This is beautiful lip gloss. I am literally obsessed with the color. It has a little bit of like gold reflex to it, but it's more of like a pink nudie kind of shade. Purpley almost. Love this color though. It's like my favorite thing. Literally my favorite thing. This gloss is also, because it has like those gold reflex to it, I'll try to see if I can like swatch it for you. Oh my gosh, worst place ever. Who swatches like this? Are you kidding? Okay, just pretend you guys can see this, right? But hopefully you guys can see, wow, my highlight is really popping. But you guys can see like it has like this beautiful neutral rosy kind of tone to it. But really, really closely when you look up close, it has really gold, kind of shimmery reflex to it. But I never feel the grit of it. So if you're looking for something that makes your lips look really full and luscious, but without feeling like it's gritty, gross, and disgusting, check this out. You won't be disappointed. I clearly need to get better at doing swatches. Room for improvement. Room for improvement, people. Okay, and you called it. Last step is the Pixie Glow Mist. Don't know how to pronounce those words. Nourishing Mist. That's what it is. It's in this beautiful green bottle. So I'm just going to be setting my face with this. I love the way it smells. You can also spray this like before your makeup too. But it has a really nice fine mist. And I actually like the pump. Like it has like, this sounds so OCD. Okay, so just bear with me for a second. But sometimes, like, for example, this is not a setting spray, this is just literally a water bottle. But when you like push down, sometimes it's like harder. I didn't need to spray it, but sometimes it's like harder because it's a smaller base right here. But this one, it's like ginormous. Do you see the tips of these? So it's a lot easier to just like push down and just pump it. That's probably really OCD of me. Welcome to Christina's world. But that little small detail really counts. I enjoy this. There's that. That's it, you guys. If you have lasted this long, be sure to subscribe because I love making new videos for you guys. But if you want to leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys would like to see next, I love to interact with you guys, so be sure to let me know what you'd like to see next. And until next time, I'll see you guys soon. Bye!